All righty.
Can you see me?
You're good. You're
Can you
good.
hear me?
I can hear you.
I apologize, audience. I think I jumped ahead of the gun. Hi, good afternoon. I am Pam Walker-Smith, your presenter for eProcurement 101, where I will take you through the eProcurement, which is bids and solicitations process, and iSupplier, which is your vendor access in FMPS. Let me move the screen on. All right. So at a glance, we will have an overview of eProcurement. I'll walk you through accessing the iSupplier portal with online bidding. We'll speak about how to register and to view bids and solicitations, and how to respond to a bid or a solicitation. Please write down your questions and or hold them until the end of this presentation. As well, Jackie mentioned that you can put your questions in the Q&A tab. DPS's mission statement is that we are the contracting authority for procurement of goods and services for the city of Chicago. We work as a team and with our customers to guarantee an open and fair, timely process by establishing and communicating and enforcing our superior business processes and practices. eProcurement was established back in 2017. It is the city of Chicago's financial management purchasing system that we lovingly call FMPS, and it is an Oracle-based web technology. The iSupplier portal is the full-service resources for the vendors doing business with the city of Chicago. Our bids, our BPS bids and RFQs and RFPs are electronic and are advertised through eProcurement. That means we do no more paper bids. You must be registered. You must be a registered vendor to access the iSupplier portal, online eProcurement system for all purchasing activities. As a registered vendor in this iSupplier portal, you'll be able to view and respond to bids and solicitations online, view orders, payments, invoices, past and present. Update your company information, contacts and addresses, phone and emails. You're able to add contacts to your vendor database. To assist the vendors with the transition to the iSupplier portal online bidding process, we developed a microsite called, we developed a website that we call the microsite, and it's your how-to manual for eProcurement. And that web address, as you see, is www.chicago.gov/eProcurement as well. We will walk through that. Security. Please note that your information is secure. The city takes security seriously and ensures all information is encrypted. Our protocol is HTTPS:// as in the banking industry. Bid solicitations are not visible to employees or other vendors prior to your bid opening. Please be assured that your active bid is very secure. Login and registration. Existing vendors in the city, I'm sorry, I got a box. Make it go away. Existing vendors with city vendor numbers, you click on request for the iSupplier invitation button that you will see on the microsite. And that will direct your request to customer support. New vendors, those who are without an existing city vendor number, you click on the new vendor registration button. What is the requirement for vendor registration? A W-9. Please attach a PDF of your company's W-9 and the company name that you, if and when you obtain an award of a contract, that W-9 vendor name must match what is on the registration. The W-9 vendor name must match, and the FEIN number must match on the registration. This is a portion of the microsite. Here up at the orange ribbon where it reads home, login and registration, current bid opportunities, current bids and solicitation opportunities, online training material, delegates and help. That right there is your fail-safe to eProcurement and iSupplier. Home is the landing page for which we're looking at right now. Login and registration is just that. You can log in and or you can register. Current bids and solicitation opportunities is our abstract of our most current current bid solicitations. Online training material, that's where you're going to live until you get the hang of it in FMPS on your supplier table and when you are submitting a solicitation to learn how and to walk you through that process. If you haven't contacted customer support, the online training material will assist you in submitting a bid solicitation. The delegates is just that. That delegate link is for our delegate agency vendors who are primarily doing business with OBM and some of that's Office of Budget Management, Department of Planning, those departments that administer to the delegate agency process. Help is just that. You click on the help link, you'll get some information that you may need. Here at the bottom of the landing page where there are dates here, these are the dates of our up and coming solicitations. So today we are at 3/31. Our next one is going to be April 21st. This landing page is to the existing vendor registration. Now, what you see, it reads, existing City of Chicago vendor. Below that, it is speaking to our sister agencies, being city colleges and CHA and public schools and CTA and TDC. Note, if you have any certifications or a vendor number with any of these, our sister agencies, we do not collaborate, meaning that if you have a vendor number with them, it's not transferable to the city. You must be registered within the city system and obtain a city vendor number. You must, the only collaboration that the city has is that with the county, and that is for the MBE-WBE certification. We speak to this because oftentimes we get phone calls from Park District and CTA and public schools primarily, stating that they were told from those entities that if they had a vendor number with the City of Chicago, that they can use that number to get a contract with our sister agency. That's not true. Each one of our sister agencies has their own procurement process and is not in kind to procurement process. So just note that when you want to do business with the City of Chicago, you must have a City of Chicago vendor number. So below that paragraph, we speak to requesting an iSupplier invitation. Requesting of an iSupplier invitation is for those vendors who currently do not have a vendor number with the City of Chicago, have never had one. And now you see a solicitation that you may be interested in, it's advertised in the Tribune. You know you don't have a vendor number. So you would come and you would request an iSupplier invitation. Oh, I'm sorry, let me back that up. That's incorrect. Existing vendor. You currently do have a vendor number with the City of Chicago. Long time ago. Had a contract long time ago. Haven't been paid by the city in a very long time. Contract is no longer active. You are not an iSupplier vendor. All contracts now are processed through eProcurement, and you must be an iSupplier vendor. You will request an iSupplier invitation. That invitation request will go to our customer support center, and they will take all of your information as a level 1 customer support. And here in DPS, our level 2 team will receive that request and look through your existing vendor record and then add you to that. And you'll receive an email stating that here is your temporary password. New vendor registration. I got ahead of myself. I apologize. New vendor registration. That's for new vendors. You've never done business with the city. Okay? And so you want a city, you see a solicitation that you are interested in, you must register first. And you would click on this on to button. And you can also read the blue highlight below the button that reads new vendor registration. It'll walk you through how to register as well. But please note, a PDF of your FEIN number is a requirement. If it is not received with your registration, it will be sent back to you requesting an upload of your W. Current bids and solicitation opportunities. On that orange button, when you click that orange button, it will produce an abstract page of our most active bid solicitations. Current bid opportunities. Now, as Jackie mentioned about DPS alerts, our current bid opportunities is a listing similar to the abstract, but it's a listing of our bids, our solicitations that will be going out to bid. And it comes out every Monday morning, and it will be posted on our website. And you can look at that as well. It's like you're ahead of the abstract. You're ahead of the abstract, which we'll see in a minute, when you look through the bid opportunities listing, because it lists all of our current bids coming up. I don't know what the time period is. I'm not real sure about the time period. Like right now, we're going into April. It will list all of April, but it could list May as well within the bid opening listing of our current bid solicitation. So it's an advantage to you, the vendor, to sign up for DPS alerts so that you too will be ahead of it. What we do. The what we do section is on our procurement services website. And on the blue ribbon, you will go to the link that reads what we do. Then there's contract administration. From contract administration, there's a list of menus right there. And it is all of what we do in contract administration, as well as in MBE, WBE. It's all contract information. As Jackie spoke to, the buy-in plan, that's represented here is our pre-bid and our pre-submittal conference attendees. That's here, the takeout list, that's here. So this is your, how do I find my interest for the Department of Procurement Services in their contracting process? That would be here on the blue ribbon, on Procurement Services webpage. At the blue ribbon, what we do, drop down menu, choose contract administration, drop down menu, any one of those links. Well, you can see our bid tabulation, the buy-in plan, current bid opportunities for which I spoke to, any of our job releases, our sole sources, our non-competitive procurement. And again, most interesting to our vendors are the pre-bid conference attendees. And the takeout list. They would like to know, our vendors would like to know, who is my competition? That's how you find out. Here, current bids and solution opportunities page at the orange ribbon. When you click there, you'll get this abstract here at the bottom. The abstract is the listing of our most active bid solicitation. So you're looking at sometimes And our bids are published and advertised in the, I'm sorry, because it's no longer there. Our bids are advertised in the Chicago Tribune. Well, here's a list of what you would see in the Tribune on the day of the bid opening. This here is how you access the abstract, is how you would access that solicitation, or how you can even read it. Just download a PDF of the solicitation, even if you're not an active vendor yet. You just want to look and see if you have are you actually interested in that solicitation. You can download it from here, as well as if you do have a vendor number you already established, you can log into FMPS from here as well. Next. So the abstract continues. Here is just a horizontal, a vertical view, and an actual solicitation that you can download and look at all from that one page. Okay, so the example here at the top, we chose an RFQ. The RFQ number is 778,4. We'll speak to the comma behind a solicitation number. So what this view is showing you, who is letting out the contract? Who is letting out the solicitation? It's not a contract yet. It is Department of Aviation. What is this contract type? It's work services. What is the solicitation number? It's 778,4. What is the specification number? It's 1213294. What might the title be? The specification number of the solicitation always precedes the title, and the title is Shuttle Bus Services for Midway International Airport. It has a bid opening date and the date of advertisement. It has the date that the bid is going to be advertised, which is August the 11th, 21, and that the date that you can begin to start filling out your papers, filling out the documentation is August the 11th, 21, and that the date that the bid opens would have been February the 16th, 22, and August the 25th is your deadline for questions. So I'm sorry, is that the deadline for questions? Yeah. The prior time start date? Okay. So the deadline for questions would have been August the 25th to 21. Now let me tell you about the deadline for questions. They turn it into an addendum. So you vendors have downloaded the RFP and you begin to fill out your paperwork. You went to the pre-submittal if there was one for this solicitation. And as I see here, there was one for August 18th, 21, and we strongly suggest that you attend a submittal conference. If one is apropos for an RFQ, it will be noted on this page. And we strongly suggest that you do attend for several reasons. One, you get to meet the engineers and the using department who is letting out the contract, and they will speak to the detailed specifications and the proposal page. You will meet the procurement specialist who is processing and preparing the solicitation, and that is your point of contact if you have any questions about the solicitation. Questions are written, and we'll discuss that as far as online discussion that you would have with the procurement specialist after the pre-submittal date. So it's very important that you get your questions in, and that turns into an addendum because all of you may have a question, and all questions will be answered so that all minds are clear at the same time. So you would have to acknowledge an addendum. Now, speaking to acknowledgement, this solicitation number is 778,4, which means there were 4 addendums to one solicitation. You would have to acknowledge each one. You will get an email. After you have, after entering, okay, so now you've registered and you received your email with your temporary password. Your login is going to always be your email address once you have been registered. And you receive your temporary password, and now you're going to change it to your permanent password. What you need to see is two folders. Here in this example, we have one folder that reads City of Chicago iPROCURE Portal with invoice creation, a second folder that reads City of Chicago online bidding. In the event that you only see one folder, please call customer support, because then that has to be troubleshooted, and we need to see why is it that you're not seeing two folders. To be ahead of the game, if that happens to occur, first you want to check with your department IT to see if your department may be blocked by the City of Chicago or behind a firewall. It's kind of one and the same thing. You want to check with your IT department first. And then if they say, no, we can receive email, we can receive notifications from the City of Chicago, then you want to contact customer support to let them know that you only have one folder. And then the level 2 team will have to troubleshoot that. So that's just a heads up. In this example, we are showing you that we are viewing the first folder, which is City of Chicago iPROCURE Portal with invoice creation. Below that are the tabs that you will acquire when you click on the yellow folder line, right? What is highlighted for this example is admin. Admin is your vendor record. Here, you'll be able to look at any documents that you may need to upload and you want in your vendor record file, your address book, where you can update your address. Or if you have more than one location, you can add an address. I strongly advise you that if you move, change your address. Don't add an address. If you're moving from a location to a new location, just change the old address to the new address. It still comes through our clerical support unit, and they will either approve it or reject it. If it's rejected, you'll be notified why we're rejecting it. Why would be one reason that we're rejecting it? Well, you are currently an existing vendor with the City of Chicago, and you notice that your address is incorrect in the database. We don't know that yet because we have not been informed that your address is incorrect, that it can be changed. You change it, right? It's time for payment by the Department of Finance for you, the vendor, and you changed your address or you inactivated it because you're able to do that as well. That's another thing that vendors do. Instead of changing their address, they'll inactivate the address and add a new address. And now finance is unable to pay you because they don't have your address in their system from when they paid you last. It's coming up invalid. So I strongly advise you to, if you move, please change your address. Don't add your address because we have to approve any changes that you may make. And we don't know if you have a contract or not. We don't know. We just trying to be abiding to your request. And since we can't note you, we may reject your data entry that you did to inactivate your address. So please first change it. Please don't try not to inactivate it if you don't have to. Contact directory. You can always add another person. Let's just say, you know that you're going out of town and you're not going to be able to complete a solicitation. You can add another employee to your portal, and you can also provide them with access to the iSupplier portal. In the event that you don't know how to, or you can't figure out how to add them to the iSupplier portal, contact customer support and at level 1, and level 2 will receive that request and take care of that for you, and giving another contact person access to the iSupplier portal. The second folder is the City of Chicago's online bidding. Same process. You got your password. You're not interested in the vendor database just yet. You want to get to that location. So then again, same process. Change your temporary password to a permanent. Below here, we're looking at a tab that reads negotiations. This is where your active negotiations will populate at. Here, as an example, it is empty, as yours will be once you log in for the first time, because there has been no activity. Once you start having activity with the City of Chicago and its solicitations, your page will fill up. So here's a table legend of solicitations that will be in your folder because you've had some activity. So your response number. The response number is the number that you're going to receive when you hit save on this solicitation for the first time. You logged in, you acknowledged it, you've acknowledged the solicitation. You'll see an example of that. You may have answered some of the requirement questions. Once you hit save, it's going to read to you at the top of the solicitation. This is your response number. Write it down or remember it, because that's how you're going to get to your solicitation. Your response status occurs with an action. You're either going to be active, which means you submitted it. It's going to be in draft because you saved it, but you have not submitted it. Or you may see resubmission required. That resubmission required means that there is an addendum that has been established and you must acknowledge it. The supplier site that's not used by DPS. Title, it always is preceded by the specification number, the colon, and then the title subject of the RFQ. Terminology has changed from our old system to now ePROCUREMENT. And so all solicitations or bids is known as an RFQ, which is a request for qualification. You have a number of days that you're remaining before the bid opening, before the due date. So it counts down for you. The monitor, we don't really use that, but it's it's good for you, and it may be good for the specialist who is reviewing to see how much activity and how much time you're putting into processing or preparing this solicitation for your company. All messages are any messages that any conversations that you want to have with the procurement specialist is through, again, online discussion. And note, do not contact the using department that is letting out the solicitation. The solicitations are prepared by the Department of Procurement Services and our procurement specialists, not by the using department who is letting out the solicitation. So now you're inside of the solicitation, and let's say it's still blank. You can search here at where it says search open solicitation. Again, terminology changed from to. Title, that's actually the spec number. What is the specification number? The word number is the RFQ number. We do not search by contact category line or event. Once you've entered in your solicitation number, you'll see that it populates the actual solicitation. You want to first select and then respond. Respond ensures that You are in our system now. You're in our system with the a draft solicitation. It's draft because it's only been saved. You went in right here. You're not submitted, right? No resubmission is required at the time. You are in draft. You will be on the takeout list. The takeout list is the list that reads, this company downloaded the RFQ. That you're on the takeout list. And you can view again on our website any of the other vendors who may have done the same. That's why you have to respond so that you can be on our takeout list. Now that you have responded, this is the first page that you will get to, which is the terms, conditions, and acknowledgement. So you read the terms and conditions. That's our disclaimer that, if there's anything electronically wrong with your system, or the power might went out or something, it could be on the side of the city, we're not at fault. You select that I've read that by a check mark, and then you select the accept button. And at that time, you'll be in the solicitation. And that's what it looks like here. So here we have requirements, right? The requirements are the portion that the vendor must provide to the city. So the boxes are yes or no questions, or you may have to make a statement or something. Note that all boxes must have something in it. It cannot be blank. If it is blank, you think that you may have get them all, you don't know that you skipped one, you'll get an error message because that makes this non-responsive and incomplete, right? So you will get an error message if all of the boxes are not filled in. Remember that to submit to submit a request for an invitation, you must upload a W-9. So that's per the prospective bids. When you register, you must upload a W-9 with the registration. With your solicitation, you must enter your EDS number. Your economic disclosure statement number must be entered on the requirements page. If you do not, you will get an error message. If you do not answer all yes, no questions, you will get an error message. So just always, it's not going to pop right in your face. It's going to be at the top of the page. It's going to say warning. Read the warning and then adhere to the. Here's where you're going to, where it says add attachment. This is where you're going to upload your document pertaining to the solicitation, pertaining to the solicitation as required by it. So, like even the bid execution page, what needs to be signed. Anything that needs to be signed, or any documents that is part of the requirements, you can add them here. You do not have to add them one at a time. You can add them as all together. Just entitle it with the spec number and just document, required documents. Okay. If you want to add them one at a time, it reads that you can add another, add another, add another. Let me go. No, I don't have to. Now, here, follow me. We have at the top, negotiations. Below, negotiations that are active. Your quote number and the RFQ number. Below. 2 tabs. One is header. That's where we just left. Let me see if I can see it. Header. Let me go back one more. Header. Here. Up here. Header. Your header tab is where the requirements are with the white boxes, yes, no boxes, right? The tab next to that reads lines. So this is your lines tab. Old school proposal page. If you ever done business with the city before and it was paper documents, your paper documents are your proposal pages. What you are adhering to that you can provide within your bid. Bid equals solicitation terminology. So this is the lines tab, and the lines tab is where you're going to put your pricing. It differs per type of contract, because for this one we have an estimated quantity of 1,000, and your quote is that this example just reads for each. The system does the math itself, so you don't have to worry about be concerned about doing the math. The system will do the math per our line. This right here is just an example. Construction contract could be in groups. Vehicles and heavy equipment contracts could be in groups. So it would be group A, group B with several lines. Sometimes, lines can get very, very long. I was just having a conversation with a procurement specialist, and they're working on something that's 450 lines currently. So that's just to let you know. There are several methods to which you can, there's an additional method where if you could up like 450 lines, you may be able to use a spreadsheet and upload it by spreadsheet, right? Or you may have to just enter them line per line, and no lines can be blank. You may have to put in a 0.01. It will be defined for you per type of solicitation what is going to be required, even if you're not bidding on that line. It can't be blank though. You may have to add 10 zeros and a 1, or you may have to add just 0.01. Again, depending on the type of solicitation. But again, no line can be blank. You're done. Example, you're done. Once you're done, what this reads is that you already have a quote number, but that quote is now a draft. You haven't submitted yet. You may not be ready to submit. So that's why we encourage our vendors to save and save often, because you may hit it. You may enter your EDS number in the EDS on the header page, on the header tab, right? Where EDS number is required. You may enter it, your phone rang, or you may have to step away from your computer, away from your desk. You didn't save it. You just entered it, but you didn't save it. And then you close the document out, right? If you didn't save it, it's not there. And if you're not conscious and looking at the top of the page, you got an error message. It said, warning, something's missing and required. It will inform. But for this example, it is just reading that there's a confirmation that your quote is now a draft. Guess what? You need your quote to be active. You need to submit it. A draft is not an active solicitation. These are items to note because of the many solicitations that we've had with groups, and that's where no lines can be blank on the lines tab, as well as no lines can be blank on the header tab. So now, responses must be submitted through ePROCUREMENT. That means there are no paper bid responses. Please acknowledge all addenda. For responses, fill out all PDF forms, scan and upload as an attachment. Also, fill in the total price in the line provided. If it's necessary, submit detailed pricing sheets as provided, which those happen with RFPs. And so for RFPs, you're going to submit your paper pricing sheet, but in the system, you're going to enter 0.01. Okay. Now for groups, all groups must have a pricing in it, even if you're not bidding on that group. So you would enter no bid, but this is where you're going to enter 10 zeros and a 1 for your no bid groups. And again, if you run into a situation where you may need a group, please contact our help desk at customersupport@cityofchicago.org, or you may call them at 312-744-HELP.
I just wanted to let the audience know that you have just a few more slides left to go, and then we will take their questions. Thank you.
So this slide here is pertaining to the online discussion. So with online discussions, that is when you're going to ask your question to the procurement specialist. Now, do you see above here where it reads warning? Warning here has the RFQ number, and it's informing you, the vendor, that it has been amended. Amended means that there is now an addendum. There's going to be an addendum. So to be considered for awards, you must acknowledge each amendment and submit or resubmit as your response to ensure that you comply with the changes. Okay. So online discussion to the right, at the actions line, the drop-down menu header is online discussions. And this is how you're going to talk to the procurement specialist. Okay. If you have any questions, concerns, whatever you need to speak to the procurement specialist, you'll do it here at online discussion. Hit the button, go. That information is also noted in our help section and in the training materials on the microsite. So you want to send a new message. This is when you're going to speak to the procurement specialist. You're going to select new message. Okay, you're going to click new message, and then you're going to put in the specification number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, my question. If you have to add an attachment to that, you are able to do that within the box. And then it's going to go to the procurement specialist solicitation, and they'll respond back and forth to you. Generally, the online discussion is only for the vendor and the specialist, not the using department, or not anyone else within our department that has anything to do with our solicitation, like the specialist manager. The conversation is between you and the specialist in online discussion. So here it's speaking to, hey, we have an amendment that you must acknowledge. It's reading that there's an amendment. It requires your acknowledgement. Do you want to proceed? Yes, you do. If you don't, you are not submitting a solicitation. If you say no, you change your mind. You're not submitting. If you say yes, continue to move forward with the submitting of your solicitation. Here is once you have submitted your solicitation, you will receive the next business day the confirmation of quote submission. This is to ensure that you're not in a draft, your response status is not in draft, but that it is active. But again, please, if you have an interest in a solicitation, be conscious of your response status. Again, active means you submitted it. Draft means you worked on it. Requires, resubmission required means that you must acknowledge. Here is our online training material in our microsite. And the first column is for all things pertaining to your vendor record. I just want to look at this right quick. Yeah, that's your iSupplier. So it reads that you can add a new address, add contact. How you can update means to change, and if necessary, how you can inactivate. That's another thing too when you inactivate a contact name. That contact name could be tied to a contract that's active. Mary was the one in your company who submitted the solicitation. So she is the contact name on that specific RFQ for procurement service. Now it's time for the company to get paid by finance. Finance is ready to cut the check, and they're going to go, their system read from our system portions of it. One is to include the contract. But someone in the department who has access as well inactivated Mary as a contact name because Mary has been promoted and she doesn't do solicitation preparation for the company anymore. Guess what? Once Mary gets inactivated and procurement services doesn't have a new name for that contact, for that specific solicitation, they can't get paid. The company can't get paid because there is no contact name associated to the solicitation. So try not to inactivate if you don't have to. You can add as many names as you want to. The procurement specialist is the person who has to tell level 2 clerical support to add the contact name. So the new contact name so that the specialist can go and update the solicitation or now it's a contract. Now it's a contract because it's been awarded. And Mary's gone. Mary's not there. And she's been inactivated. And now the actual contact name is a fallacy for the finance. So we encourage you to try not to inactivate as much as possible, but make whatever changes that the right side of the screen speaks to all things pertaining to the solicitation. Anything you need to know on the how-to part is defined there. If you click on the words link, it'll open up a document that you can read, a PDF. If you click on the word video, it'll do just that, show you a video. The items in the middle speaks to all things finance, and below that are all things delegates. Delegates, again, procurement does not speak to because it is not our process. Neither is finance because we do not make it. Again, if you need any support, any assistance, feel free to read your training materials, online training materials on the orange ribbon at the microsite, or you can call 312-744-HELP, or you can send an email to customersupport@chicago.gov. In the event of that, your question will be, if level 1 can handle it, they will. If they can assist and provide you with information that you need, they will. If they cannot, they will forward that to level 2, and level 2 will indeed handle it for you. This does complete my presentation on iSupplier and eProcurement 101. I hope that I covered everything that you would need to know to submit a solicitation and or how to become a vendor with the City of Chicago. It has been my pleasure. Thank you very much and have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much, Pam. If you have a question for Pam, feel free to put it in the Q&A panel. And for those of you that may not know where that is, it is in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Go ahead and click on that box, and then you'll get a dialog box. Go ahead and type in your question, press the enter key, and we'll get that. In the meantime, while I'm giving a few minutes for you to write out your question that you perhaps might have, I want to thank Pam for giving you that information regarding e-procurement and the ICE flyer. We hope that you take advantage of that information, and that you are quite successful when you put in for your bids, and perhaps you will become one of our awardees that are awarded the bid based upon the information that you have put in. With that said, I guess, Pam, they have no questions because I don't see any questions at the moment. So if you have any last minute words that you would like to say, feel free to go ahead and say them now, and then I will close out.
Yes, thank you for attending this presentation. And again, if you are interested in any of our solicitations, please feel free to access our microsite for assistance if you need that, if that is what we require. If not, thank you and have a very good day. Great week.
All right. After this workshop, a pop-up box will appear with a survey of some information. If you have comments or questions, feel free to put them in there, and we will get them, because we want to make sure that we're giving you information that you can use. It will help us when we start planning for our next year's presentations. So if all of you all are equipped on procurement, we might do an eProcurement 102 next time. So anyway, with that said, stay safe, stay well, and we look forward to seeing you in the future where we can interact with you in a live presentation. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.